Hello, this is a video on using Vivaldi's Tilesets and Workspaces. If this is a brand new installation of Vivaldi and you don't have any bookmarks yet, you can import them from Chrome or Firefox using File, Import, select which browser you want. Make sure you've got the right profile selected as well so you get all the bookmarks that you want. Once you've got everything lined up, you can begin to set up your workspace. Now, you want to have a little bit of planning up front, so you want to try and group, if at all possible, for ease of setup, try to group everything together. So say, for example, you wanted to start off with a workspace about eagles. So you want to open up Workspaces, select New Workspace, give it a name, and then choose which URLs you want. So say we start off with, say, this one, this one, let's go that one, and that one. So we've got 4 different tabs along the top here. Each one you'll be well acquainted with. So to tile them, you want to depress and hold the Control key, and then left mouse click each one of these tabs. You'll see that it has a dots around it. Once you've got everything selected, you want to right mouse click and then select Tile 4 tabs. And there we've got 4 tabs here. If you wanted to reposition them, then you can click them to highlight and then move them along the way. One of the other options you've got here is you can resize these windows. Say if you decide that you want to just, instead of having theater mode, you just want to go to default. It will allow you to manually resize this window here. If you wanted to make these ones a little bit bigger, and because they do actually have a chat, although in this case here you can't see the chat, what you can do in this case, if you know it has a chat but it's not rendering, then you could just select that window and hit F5. That will refresh it. And then its associated chat appears. Same thing. And there's the chat for it. You can go back and put these in theater mode to maximize your real estate. If you resize these things vertically, you'll notice in a second here the chat for those associated cams actually shows up. That might work for you. It doesn't work for me, but it's an interesting possibility within the layout. Now, each of these workspaces are dynamic. There's nothing to save here. So I've already created this tile set within this workspace called Demo. If I were to go to a different workspace, say Wolves, oh, thank you, Wolf. and then come back to the demo, you can see that it's saved it in that particular layout. You can go back to anything that you want. You can set it back to how you want it displayed. One of the other options within the workspace is that you don't have to have everything included in the set. Say, for example, I can close this start page and say I want to open up another tab. Try the Overlooks tab. So I may not want to include it in the tile set, but I can still look at it here. So you can see I've got 5 actual tabs, but only 4 are included in the tile set. I can use this one as just associate it with that workspace, but then look at it, whenever I want to as an option. It's sort of orphaned from the tile set, but not from the workspace. One of the ways that I really like to use this is to display both the cam and its associated chat windows. In this case here, I've got 4 different tabs. They each have a chat window, but even if I include them in a set, I'm not able to really see the chats with it. So what I do in this case here is I will break the set. So just select any one of them within it and go untile all tabs in the set. Then what I want to do is I want to duplicate each one of these tabs. And then go to the duplicate and replace the word watch with live_chat. Okay, so now that I have each of them all laid out the way I want, I'll go back, depress and hold the Control key, and then left mouse click each one of these tabs in the set. Right mouse click, tile 8 tabs. Now I have each of the cams and its associated chat. I really like doing it like this. If there is, of course, something that you decide that, well, let's say again, if you want to change the layout, highlight the two that you want to move, and you can move them over to somewhere else within the tile set. One of the other things that you may decide is that was fun. Is you may decide that you don't really want the chats with some of these. What you could do is you can close them and then just have the windows themselves. Let's see, that didn't work out quite the way I wanted it. So there you can just have two cams and a chat, and then you just have cams over here if you want to. Again, the chats are always there. If you decide you just want to have the cam and occasionally look at the chat, once again, if the chat doesn't appear and you know it does actually have one, then just hit the F5 key to refresh it, and the chat will show up. Same thing, F5, and the chat will show up for it. Now, one of the things with Vivaldi, it's pretty resource intensive, so you want to be careful that you don't max out your resources. With this, I find 16 gig of RAM. You can have 8 cams, which would be 4 cams and 4 chats. You can actually have all 8 cams if you wish. Again, 16 gig. 32 is better. 64 is great. Especially if you're using multiple monitors, what you can do with Vivaldi is you can actually open up 2 iterations of Vivaldi, and you can have 16 cams or 16 tiles in 2 different monitors. You'd need at least 32 gig to do that. Again, what preferably would be 64. Now, if you wanted to just have cams only, then once again, choose your URLs, your tabs, and this will allow you to just have cams. Right. Now, again, you can always look at the associated chat if you wanted to scroll down. Once again, it's not rendering properly. So F5 it to get it to come back. And you can use it this way if that will work for you. But it's an option to have multicam in one particular workspace view. Again, I didn't save anything. We're still showing a demo, which had all sorts of different windows at this point, right? So if I wanted to go to a different workspace and then come back to the demo tab, everything is exactly as I left it. With Vivaldi, as I said, it's resource intensive, so be careful. You'll see if you run into problems, you'll start buffering and you'll start seeing the circles. One of the things you want to do as part of this setup is once you have it all complete, you want to make sure that you export your HTML files, export your bookmarks into an HTML file that you can save. The other benefit of Vivaldi, like some of the other browsers, is that you can sync. I have this. I use Vivaldi on multiple systems, so this one primary I use as the source for all the syncing. Bear in mind that workspaces are not part of the sync. That's something that you have to set up in each of your systems. So it's a bit of a bother. I think Vivaldi is working on correcting that now, so that if you do sync, you'll get your workspaces as well. Also, when you export, I'm pretty sure that the workspaces are not part of the export into your HTML. So in a worst case scenario, you'll have to set them back up again. Vivaldi has a great community forum, so if you run into problems, that's a great source of information. One of the things I did find is that if you ever find, when you open up the workspace, if you ever find that you your bookmarks suddenly look like um, um, a dead crow on its back, then you've got a corruption. You'll have to refer to the forum for the best way to resolve that. One of the other things that you can see happen is if you try to create a workspace and then all of a sudden each one of those tiles just buffering, just repeating over and over and over again, opening and closing, then you've got another problem that I think is associated with too many workspaces. I've got a bunch of them here. Those are how many workspaces I've got. I actually had to close 2 of them in order to do this demo because as part of the demo, I was getting into that very same problem where it just would not stop refreshing the windows. So there seems to be a limit, and again, that seems to be a bug within Vivaldi. Perhaps at some point they'll fix it. If not, just keep referring to the community forum for additional information. Um, Hopefully that will be enough of a primer to get you going. Good luck and have fun.